Judges chapter 18, the Danites seek territory. I was reading a little bit yesterday and I thought, well, we read about Micah, remember? And I thought, if we're going to read any more about what happened, but it was more to tell the story that religious confusion and idolatry is starting to begin to dominate Israel, and it's going to be Micah's idolatry, because now we're going to learn about tribe of Dan's idolatry. So sometimes a little bit of history and learning a little bit more deeper dive gives a little bit of meaning, like, okay, what about Micah? That's all we're going to know about Micah. So learn a little bit more how that sin keeps going in more and more, and it dominates areas. So, okay, the Danites seek territory. In those days, there was no king in Israel, and in those days, the tribe of Dan were seeking an inheritance of land for themselves to live for until then, inheritance had not been allotted to them as a possession among the tribes of Israel. So the sons of Dan sent from the total number of their extended family 5 brave men from Zorah and Eshtaol to scout the land and to explore it. And they said to them, go explore the land. They came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and lodged there. When they passed near Micah's house, they recognized the voice of the young man, the Levite, and they turned aside and said to him, who brought you here? And what are you doing in this place? And what do you have here? And he said to them, Micah has done this and that for me, and he has hired me, and I become his priest. Oh, here's Micah. And they said to him, please ask of God, so that we may know whether our journey on which we are going will be successful. The priest said to them, go in peace. The journey on which you are is acceptable to the Lord. Then the 5 men went on and came to Laish and saw the people who were there, how they were living securely in the style of Sidonites, and quiet and peaceful, and there was no oppressive magistrate in the land, humiliating them in anything. And they were far from Sidonites and had no dealings with anyone. And it says, the Danites were looking for a place to settle because they had been unable to settle effectively in their allotted territory. Compare their allotment in Joshua and their failure to capture it all. Seems clear that the story is not placed chronologically, but refers back to the first chapters of Judges. The Danites' migration in search of new land probably would have come soon after the events in chapter 1, not some 3 centuries or more later. So the 5 men came back to their brothers at Zorah and Eshtaol and their brothers, and said to them, what do you have to report? And they said, arise, let us go up against them, for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good, fertile. Will you still sit and do nothing? Do not hesitate to go, to enter, to take possession of the land. When you enter, you will come to people, feeling safe and secure, with a spacious land, widely extended on all sides, for God has given it into your hands, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth. Then from the tribal family of the Danites, from Zorah and from Eshtaol, 600 men are armed with weapons of war sent out. They went up and camped at Kiriath-Jearim in Judah, and therefore they have called that place this day. And they went on from there to the hill country of Ephraim and came to Micah's house. The Danites take Micah's idols. Okay. Here we go. Then the 5 men who had gone to scout the country of Laish said to their relatives, do you know that there in these houses an ephod, teraphim, an image of silver-plated wood, and a cast image of solid silver? Now therefore consider what you should do. So they turned in that direction and came to the house of the young Levite at the home of Micah and asked him how he was doing. Now the 600 men armed with their weapons of war, who were of the sons of Dan, stood at the entrance of the gate. Now the 5 men who had gone to scout the land went up and entered the house and took the image of silver-plated wood, the ephod, the teraphim, and the cast image of solid silver, while the priest stood by the entrance of the gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. When these 5 men went into Micah's house and took the plated image, the ephod and the teraphim, and the cast image, the priest asked them, what are you doing? They said, keep quiet, put your hand over your mouth, and come with us, and be a father and a priest to us. It is better for you to be a priest to the house of one man, or to be a priest to a tribe and a family in Israel. The priest's heart was glad to hear that. He took the ephod, teraphim, and the image and went among the people. So they turned and left, and they put the children, the livestock, and the valuables and supplies in front of them. When they had gone some distance from the house of Micah, the men who were living in the houses near Micah's house assembled as a militia and overtook the sons of Dan. So it says, when it said to be a father and a priestess, the Levites' cynical acceptance of this opportunity for greater prestige indicates further how debased conditions had become. Those who had been divinely appointed to minister before the Lord were selling false spiritual services to the highest bidder. Yeah. Okay, so now they're going to come out, and it says, they shouted to the Danites, who turned and said to Micah, what is your reason for assembling against us? And he said, you have taken away my gods, which I have made, and the priests, and they have gone away. What else do I have left? How can you say to me, what is your reason? So the sons of Dan said to him, do not let your voice of complaint be heard among us, or else angry men will assault you, and you will lose your life along with the lives of everyone in your household. Then the Danites went on their way, and Micah saw that they were too strong for him, so he turned and went back to his house. They took the idolatrous things that Micah had made and his priest, and they came to Laish, to a people who were quiet and secure, and they struck them with the edge of the sword and burned the city with fire. And there was no one to rescue them, because it was far from Sidon, and they had no dealings with anyone. It was in the valley which belongs to Beth Rehob, and there they rebuilt the city they lived in. They named the city of Dan after Dan, the forefather, who was born to Israel. However, the original name of the city was Laish. The tribe of sons of Dan set up the image of silver-plated wood for themselves, and Jonathan, the sons of Gershom, the sons of Moses, and the sons were priests to the tribe of the Danites until this end of captivity. So they set up for themselves Micah's silver-plated wooden image, which he had made, and kept it throughout the time that the house of tabernacle of God was at Shiloh. The true worship of God in the appointed place was available all this time. The Danites just did not want to bother with it. All right, they got their idolatry. New set of dams one here. So this is your Daily Bible Chapter reading God's Word Monday through Friday. See you tomorrow.